Absolutely not.
She 1,000% signed a prenup. I wouldn't have married her if she didn't.
No, I didn't.
And it's not because I don't trust her, but because I'm not stupid either.
Hey.
Like, this is what I believe.
No.
She's entitled to half of everything of mine that we accrued during our marriage, and everything that she owned before our marriage. Everything I had before the marriage is mine.
No.
And just like my retirement is mine.
No.
So,
no.
absolutely.
No.
Yeah.
No,
So,
I didn't sign anything.
You signed it right before we signed our marriage license.
No, I did not.
It's not my fault you don't read stuff, but you did.
I didn't sign any prenup. I
You
didn't.
absolutely did.
No, I didn't.
1,000% you did.
No, I didn't. I would have never done that. Like, I would have.
But you did it.
Dumb.
Then why did you do it? Riddle me that.
I didn't sign anything. And if there's a prenup, it's because you forged my signature. Because I never, ever, 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 ever would have signed a prenup under any circumstances.
There's a prenup on file, so you might want to look into that.
Why?
I just explained.
Well, if she was so sure that the marriage would work out with him, she wouldn't be so worried about a prenup existing in the background. And now this next lady's got some great points on how so many Instagram models will just be delusional.
The problem is y'all let social media think you had all these options because of the access to people's accounts. Baby, you ain't got no options. This ain't the stock market, okay?
Okay, so my last video got like over 600 comments, and they kind of basically sounded all like this. When I asked where are the men, they basically said they're at home, they're at work, or at the gym. A lot of them said they're trying to protect their peace. And I definitely hear that. Guess they expected me to be like, oh my God, how dare you say that? But I can understand it. I blame the podcast pros and all that good stuff, but stupid online hypothetical question. Oh, if I don't spend $20 on a date, it's not a date. Like, shut up. Ultimately, this divide just makes our community a lot weaker because we as a society, we need each other. We both need each other.
Nice. Yeah, the entitlement must stop. So instead of thinking about what they can get, they should be thinking about what they can give. And now you won't believe how this next lady has 6 different kids from 6 different fathers.
Hold on, bro. How?
Something that men really need to consider these days is keeping receipts. Keep those text messages, keep the voice notes, keep the emails. Whatever receipts you have, keep them because you don't know if you're going to need them in the future. Look at the Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively situation. If he wouldn't have kept his text messages, he would have been screwed. Thank God he kept the receipts, and that's what men need to do these days to protect themselves. So make sure that you don't delete those messages because you don't know if you're going to need them in the future.
I like this one.
Well, you could say that what she was mentioning isn't really enough evidence to protect you. So stuff like this is why many will say that dating's just too stressful. And now the math isn't really mathing in this next one.
What is 88 plus 22?
110.
That's incorrect.
No, it's correct.
No, because if you got 8 plus 2 is 10, then 8 plus 2 is 10, then 10 times 10 is 100.
You're very wrong.
No, I'm right and you're wrong.
Huh?
So, basically last year in January, I started dating this girl, and I was absolutely, like, dumb in love. I was set on getting engaged to her, like, that year. I had a whole trip in Italy planned out at one point. Right before the breakup, I was looking at houses in Georgia because I wanted to get one. We're in a state that she liked, and I moved down to Orlando in Florida. That's the reason why I moved to Florida, was so I could be closer to her from Charlotte, where I was living at the time. And basically, we broke up. But we had a few breakups in the relationship throughout the 7 months or so that we were together. I'm like a lover boy. I've been in plenty of relationships before that one, but that was like the one where I felt the most like it was the one.
She broke up with him 4 times in just 7 months, which is just crazy. So he was in love with her while she clearly wasn't.
I went on a first date, and when I opened the door, my man was at my front door, and I was like, oh, like, right? And then he pulled the flowers out, and I was like, wow, this is different, right? So I'm not even paying attention. I brush past the trying to walk down the steps and get to the door, right? Because I'm not paying attention. I'm just so not used to it, and it just hasn't, like, I just didn't have a lot of practice. He opened my car door, I get inside, he closed the door, I immediately went to my group chat. It's weird.
Did you say he opened your car door?
High five.
No. Now let me explain, right? Let me explain. By the time we got to the restaurant, my follow-up text was, y'all, that's my bad. I just realized, and all that stuff we be talking about, we don't really want it. But it's so unheard of that instead of me appreciating it, it's weird.
Hey, bro, come on now, dog.
You see, stuff like this is why they say that they don't even know what they even want. And far too often, the good husbands are ignored for the bad ones. Now, I don't really have much words for this next one.
When he takes a nap, it irrationally annoys me.
Walking past somebody to go to the station you're working out at and briefly glancing at them for less than a second does not make somebody a creep. Then you chop the video up to seconds, minutes later, whatever it is, he finishes up, walks by, his buddy follows, and he doesn't fully look at you until you turn to him to be confrontational, which you caused. I'm sorry, but this man did nothing wrong.
Good job, my brother. We rocking with you.
It's called the spotlight effect, where people think that others care so much about what they are doing. But no, each of us aren't really that important, and that's perfectly fine. Next, we have a rather unbelievable set of rules that should be followed.
She created a PS5 time schedule for her husband where he has to do various different things just so he could play his PS5. So for 30 minutes to play on his PS5, he has to give his wife a foot rub. For 40 minutes, he has to give his wife a back rub. For an hour without playing online so he can't play with his friends, he has to cook dinner for an hour to play on his PS5.
Set the boundaries. Tell your wife, no, this is ridiculous. You're not doing that, because if you don't, you're actually harming the relationship more in the end all.
You know what cracks me up, right? You know when someone's married and they're talking about their partner and they refer to them, obviously, as like my husband or my wife, whatever. I feel like they're bragging. I feel like it's unnecessary, like they're showing off. It's not unnecessary. You have every right. That is your husband. That is your wife. And they're like, yeah, like, oh, I went out for dinner with my husband. Or like in a restaurant, they're like, oh yeah, my husband's just running late, whatever. It's like, all right. Got to tell everyone you're married. It's literally normal. Like, you're not going to call them your boyfriend or girlfriend. But it cracks me up. My husband and I. All right.
Stop the cap.
Well, it seems like she's a bit jelly. But instead of being envious of others, try to work to improve your own situation. Next, we have a bro who waited 11 years for a relationship.
How long you been together?
Kind of a long time. We met in college, but like 3 years total.
Three years, but we've known each other for 11 years.
Damn.
Yeah.
So you were in the friend zone?
I was in the friend zone big time. I never thought I was going to come out of it, to be honest. But
what do you mean by that? When did it click for you that you'd be just as attracted to him?
I mean, I think the attraction's always there, but if you're like prioritizing the friendship, it's a little different. But I think after we graduated and then like moved to the same city. So that was a couple years ago.
I was bringing in like 250, 300K a year. Would you be...
I'm going to be a millionaire before I'm 20, and this is how. I work for my dad's company.
Step 1, be rich. Step 2, continue being rich. Step 3, profit and be rich. But let's just admit that not everyone has access to generational wealth.
Look, here's a guy who's gonna have a girlfriend this year. Oh my God! Congratulations! Proud of you. Come.
Stop the cap.
But what if you don't want a girlfriend? Or maybe want to double it and give it to the next person? This next one may be a bit tough to watch.
He's a 10, but he's short.
A 1. A 6. He's a 6. 3. Oh gosh, a 1.
I'm 63 years old and I still think about her. And I still think about that night. I wrote a story about it.
Okay, so what exactly was so wrong with the first statement? Where the gentleman would say, sorry, I have a girlfriend. That implies that the gentleman thought about what he was going to say before he said it. Or would they rather just have blunt honesty in the case of, no, I have a girlfriend? Really can't have it both ways. So which way is it?
None of those ways, as she was just unhappy that she was rejected. But it simply is impossible to be attractive to everyone, so you're just bound to be rejected at some point. Next, we have a little example of some gaslighting.
I was in love with you. I wanted to be with you, but that's all in the past now.
I hope I never see you again. You still wanted to be with me after I didn't want to be with you. It was obviously a setup for me because I was the one who would be painted as a cheater.
I asked you to do it so we could talk about things because we never talk about things.
What is there to talk about?
Us being together.
We were never together. This is what happened. I ordered.
He called.
Just like, I'm beautiful.
Yeah, but that's not why I would.
He doesn't even know what he's getting himself into. And then to post this is even crazier. I don't know, y'all. I think it's really sad to see how a lot of people in this generation would much rather bounce from person to person than to be by themselves and heal.
Oh, excuse me. I didn't mean to bother you, but like, I really thought that you was gorgeous. Are you single?
Hey, bro, come on now, dog.
She literally went to the weather app, but then it said that the worst that she could say is no. Don't really know about that. Next, we have some rather sneaky behavior when it comes to a loyalty test.
Why are you putting us on the spot like this?
I mean,
Well, now, actually, I need to, read the fine print.
how long have y'all been together?
Years.
Do y'all trust each other 100%? Of course. Small phones?
Yep.
Actually what? What's actually?
Why are you putting us on the spot like this?
I mean...
Well, now, actually, I need to, read the fine print before I... You're putting me on the spot.
So, are you willing to swap phones or no? Of course. Are you hiding something before we start?
How many people you've been with?
How many people have you been with?
None of your business. Doesn't matter.
You're a tough interview.
Yeah.
You got a lot of secrets, huh?
You know what? Doesn't matter. If I'm dating you, I'm your present and your future, so.
Oh, hell no!
It is simply better to own it and be honest than to be embarrassed and in denial, because with honesty comes improvement. This next bro is just hilarious.
Hey, can I get your phone number?
I have a boyfriend.
I have a math test.
What?
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought we were talking about things we could cheat on.
Your man, what's something he's scared of? And if he doesn't say losing you?
What are you scared of?
You.
Chloe, I've known you for 6 years now. I have known since the day I met you that I wanted you to be my friend and partner forever. And today I thought on this beautiful day in this beautiful place I would make it official and ask you to be my wife.
Please don't. Please stop.
But
Put it away.
damn.
And then he lived happily ever after. After that long, awkward ride back home, of course. For this next one, would be curious as to hearing the answers 20 years from now.
Or Instagram. So would you get rid of your Instagram or social media for a marriageable man?
No, same thing.
Absolutely not.
Whether it's my career or not, I've done that before, and he was a narcissistic. I had to divorce him, so I would definitely say no.
Good times.
Some of you may need to sit down for this one.
I don't like when know how to cook.
Yes, they really said that.
Why do you know how to cook?
The most likely answer to that question is that they had someone in their life that cared enough about them to teach them some of the basic life skills that they would need when they became adults and started living life out on their own, so that they wouldn't have to rely on restaurants, fast food, or those ever so convenient microwave and instant meals in order to be able to provide a meal for themselves.
That's a problem.
What was that?
That's a problem.
But why is it such a problem?
In this day and age, it really helps for us to learn how to cook, clean, and take care of our own household. Because more and more so-called wives are refusing to do that. This next one is just wild and should really blow your mind.
If I can guess the name of your crush, you're gonna call him right now and tell him you have feelings for him. If I can guess it. Kason?
Hello? Hey, I like you and I think we should hang out.
Okay.
So, yes?
Tonight?
No, yeah, sure.
I'm in the middle of a neighborhood at a park right now.
So, like, later?
Yeah? What do you want to do?
I don't care.
Who you with?
No one?
Alright, yeah, just let me know and I'll be down.
Okay.
I don't know what I'm doing tonight, so I'm probably not doing anything, so just let me know.
Okay.
Alright, see ya.
Okay, bye.
Okay, so the first one was not nearly as bad as the second one, but we just know that the groom was not so happy about what happened.
There is nothing more icky than watching a guy walk out of Starbucks with a Frappuccino in his hand, like sipping on his green straw. Oh my God.
That still doesn't mean that you cannot do whatever it is that you like to do. So yes, you can still order that pink Frappuccino with the pink umbrella, but only if you want to. Next, we got some interesting ones revolving around current technology.
They love it when I turn up the bass.
The BBL does not make you in another league. It actually brings you down now.
Some love it though.
No, we love to play with it. I call them rentals. You're like a rental car. You go out to Miami, you rent that Lamb, you rent that Ferrari. The shit you can't drive at home. It's fun to drive out there, but now I'm not paying for this. This is going back to the rental office when I'm done with it. But we're not taking that to the parent-teacher conference. Walking in,
I hope not, yeah.
like, come on. No, like let's stop playing for real. Going to the gym, that is a real investment because as you're working out and building your body instead of buying it, that's going to build character.
She did go quiet pretty quickly. That's why they say that taking shortcuts is not worth it and not a substitute for real hard work.
We are not, the mothers of our past, and there was nothing wrong with that, but we are getting our arms involved in a lot of things, and we're busy doing and juggling millions of things. But what we are saying is, you have to handle us, and you have to handle our full-time job as well.
Isn't it supposed to be a king and a queen in the house? But at the very least, there should be some respect. Next, we have some shocking statistics.
A study last year, which came out in the news just a couple weeks ago, showing that the percentage of young men ages 18 to 29, 63% of them are not in a relationship. That is, they're not married, they're not in a steady relationship, they're not dating, they are single. 63%, nearly 2 out of 3. These trends towards singleness, not being in relationships, not being married, is bad for our society. It's bad for the individuals. And this should alarm people that as we continue down this road, these figures only appear as though they're likely going to be getting worse. Data also shows that they're less likely to pursue it at all. And this bodes very poorly for our society. I think we have to acknowledge that our principles in place for dating, for relationships, for intimacy, these changes that we've instituted in our society are not working well. And our only way is to undo many of the things that we have done and get back on a course that does work to support marriages, relationships, and family life.
We've got to remember that the skill of being alone is a very important one, because people can and will let you down, so you have to learn to be strong on your own. This next bro is just pretty funny.
If this is you, you better lower your mother tone when you talking to me.
Owning a PlayStation?
Alright, what's wrong with that?
I think if you own a PlayStation, you're gonna go to hell. So.
Seems like she wants to be the only one played then. And then what exactly happens if you own a PlayStation and an Xbox? This next bro was not having any of the nonsense.
What's your body count?
12.
What's the real number? Maybe like what?
25.
25? That's not bad at all, is it?
No, of course not.
Of course not.
There's no 10s at this table.
But that's your opinion.
It's not my...
It's an opinion, it's not
No,
fact.
but there's an objective component to beauty. If you were a 10, you would not need to wear makeup.
So are you saying to be a 10, you have to be a model? Because that's what you said.
We're talking about your looks, your physical beauty.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So by you
but
saying
you asked
that
us what we thought about ourselves.
your self-perception does not determine the reality or how other people see you in the world.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Can you think in your mind right now of a guy who you think is unattractive?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you think of a guy who you've ever encountered who thinks he's hot but isn't?
Oh, yeah.
Now, what if that guy said he was a 10?
Well, then that's his opinion.
But is he wrong?
I might not agree
But is he wrong?
Let's be so for real. If any of us were a 10, we'd be on Miss Universe or like Miss America, whatever that pageant show is.
You can in fact make the argument that there is no such thing as a 10, as perfection is unattainable. So that means that there are always ways that we can get better.
Being that you're recently divorced at 42 with 3 kids.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I did have a rebound relationship with a 26-year-old for 6 months. That was amazing.
Wait, what? What was so amazing about it, though?
I mean, all the things.
Did he take you out to dinners and dates?
Yes. Yes. Like, literally one night we were going out to dinner. My backyard, like, leading to the driveway was all gravel, and I had Python Louboutins on, and he just scooped me up and carried me to the car because he didn't want me to ruin my shoes. Like, I'd never had that in my life before, ever.
And would you say that he made you feel young again in that relationship?
Yes. And he was like an old soul, so it was good. We balanced each other out. But
Hope she realized that bro was just having fun and not taking things too seriously. And then for him, it's just on to the next. Now this next one is for the passport bros.
Boyfriend. I want to meet boyfriend.
Why you don't have a boyfriend now?
Oh, I don't know. Why? For me, I'm free. I'm big tall girl. I'm attractive girl.
Have you ever been on a date with a foreign guy?
Oh, actually once. Yesterday.
How was?
It was terrible.
What happened?
Bad guy. He want to me only something blah blah. You know, I want to serious relationship, but he don't. He just want light relationship.
Which country would you say got the most good-looking guys?
American.
That's a W.
Yes.
At 33.
I am, yes. Unfortunately, I'm not married at 33, and I have committed myself to abstaining until marriage. So
why is it that you chose to wait until marriage, especially as a man in modern day?
Honestly, it was a decision that I made when I was really young. This might sound a little crazy, but when I was really young and I had crushes on other girls and they may have had a crush on me and then maybe they developed a crush on somebody else, I was like, oh, well, you know, is she really mine? And now that she's had, you know, a relationship with somebody else or a crush on somebody else or she kissed somebody else. And I thought there's got to be some level of physical intimacy that is supposed to be just between me and my eternal partner. I want to be able to provide that commitment to my wife. I understand it's unrealistic in today's society, so I'd be open to dating someone who is not also a virgin.
Bro is a good guy and definitely deserves someone as good as him. And that is just some incredible self-control right there. Next, we have an NBA player whose on-court performance was affected by some fans.
They love it when I turn up the bass.
And get in the gym. Tall, short, and get in the gym.
Excellent video. I want to share a little story to support what he just said. I go to 3 gyms, 2 commercial gyms, and also the gym inside my building. And this new dude moved in the building, and I had seen him a few times, and he was like super shy. You could see he was nice, but the confidence was not bumping. So I hadn't seen him in about a year because I'm back on schedule now. I'm going to the gym earlier. So this year, I went into the gym early, and there he was. He was working biceps, and he was checking his biceps in the mirror. Now, when I tell you that was not the same man, we all know what gyms can do to a body, especially when you're consistent. What I want to talk about is the way his energy changed, his essence. If I didn't know better, I would swear that was a different person.
Arguably, the best part of going to the gym is not the muscles you get, but the confidence that you acquire. And you could say the same thing about other hobbies as well.
It's about value.
Yeah, your value is low.
Oh, wow. And how do you know that? You're not
Because you're 5'4" and 200 pounds.
Okay.
And 37 years old with 2 kids. That's how I know. In Kentucky.
Okay. That's your opinion.
It's not my opinion.
You never seen my body before, so you.
I don't have to see your body. I know you're 5'4" and almost 200 pounds with 2 kids in Kentucky. And I see your picture.
You just say.
And I'm listening to how you talk. And I'm listening to your energy. I'm listening to your tone. I'm listening to your relationships. I had a woman on here earlier, and I told her she was absolutely gorgeous. I ain't trying to screw you. You ain't giving me no money. What am I getting out of this?
Nothing.
You've got to love the way he said in Kentucky. But if you don't like your results, then you should probably change your habits.
Would you ever start an only? And I was like, how like, how could you even ask me that? And he literally goes, like, you post things that are basically
exactly like that. What do you have such judgment about it for? And I was sitting there like, And I really took a step back. I analyzed like the things that I had been posting, the presence that I had on social media. And at the time, I was posting like 7 stories a day of myself. I was so deep in it, and I had taken 3 days off of social media, not posting one story, not posting one photo of myself, absolutely zero attention. And this is coming from someone who I pride myself on the fact that like I don't need attention. I don't need attention from it. I felt lonely. Yeah. Not getting that attention. I can't even believe it. I was not even aware, and I know this might sound so silly to some people, but when you're so deep in it, you have no idea the effect that it's having. That was a moment where I was like, I have to change something.
It is just a great thing to be able to self-reflect and make a positive change, especially for decisions that will benefit you in the long term. Hope you enjoyed these clips today, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.